All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Rich here again for my third podcast. Now, we're going to do a little follow up on the burial benefits because I got some info from the VA right after I did my last podcast, and I'm just going to follow up a little bit. But first, we're going to introduce the wall, my family, and even a little bit of background on me. All right, so first of all, before and after pictures. Before, after. Before, after. A little bit of a difference, huh, guys? And now it's this. Man, you guys didn't sign up to see this. This is not a good thing. This is what I wish I was again, but that was 40 years ago. Now, believe it or not, this picture was this guy that went on leave for 30 days from California to Connecticut. And I came back looking like this guy. The lieutenant that was standing CQ didn't want to let me sign in, and it was 2 minutes to midnight. But needless to say, the next day, I looked like this guy again. Now, bear with me because the camera's going to get a little shaky, but I want to introduce the family behind me. All right. So, first, and I got to get the cord going here. We're going to go with, I'm going to spin around in my chair so I can see the screen. We're going to go with my grandpa Barioni. Okay. Now, that's my grandpa. That's my mom's dad. He served 10 years Army, 19 years Air Force. That gun right there, he captured from a German general in 1944 in Italy, and the German general presented his firearm. That's an 1895 Austrian cavalry pistol. Very rare and worth a bit of money. Don't come to my house and steal it. And then you can see some German stuff in there. That's medals and stuff he captured, or collected after the war. Okay, then we got, and I want to get out of the glare here. So that Air Force guy with being all cocky with his legs up on the desk, that's my dad, Rich Armour. He passed away 12 and a half years ago from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma due to exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. He was a C-130 crew chief and obviously loaded and unloaded, Agent Orange all over Vietnam. That's his dad, okay? That's George Armour. You might not be able to see the picture real good, but he was actually a master sergeant when he got out of the Army. He was in the 8th Army Air Corps, and so we have a big Air Force kind of thing going on in our family. Now, there is my adopted dad, Will Demers. Again, bad glare, sorry about that. He was in the Air Force. He was on the flight line, and then he went into nuclear missiles for maintenance, and he did that at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Arizona. His dad, Will Sr., well, he was blind in his left eye, and he was left-handed. Yet, he still shot sharpshooter. He said that was his greatest achievement in the Army, that he shot sharpshooter with being blind in one eye. And he always said, I fought the Battle of Texas, because he didn't go overseas. Then up there in the box with all the neat stuff, that's me, because I'm like to brag. But I will tell you this, bragging is good when you have 4 talons under your expert rifleman's badge, which include the M16, grenades, 45 caliber pistol, and M60 machine gun. Then you have my snot-nosed son, which I love to death, Scotty. He went in the Air National Guard like I recommended. Served about 4 years active duty, and didn't go overseas. I kept asking him as a kid when he was in the service, hey, when are you going to Afghanistan? He would always say, Dad, why do you want me to go to Afghanistan? And I always say, come back and say, son, it's safer than Fresno. So this is a little bit of my wall, a little bit of history of my family. Sorry about all the shakiness, but I don't do real good with cameras. Oh, now you got the wall, the back wall here. Let's get this bit reassorted here. All right, we're back on, and hopefully not getting you all dizzy. But I did want to introduce my family so you know the history and what's going on with my family and why I want to brag about them, because we have 100 years of service right behind us. And actually, on my Armour side of the family, we go back to the Revolutionary War. Now, we want to go back to the burial thing like I told you about. And here we go. We're going to share the screen. We're going to go to the Word program. Okay. Now, first of all, I want you to show, what are we doing here? Okay. In the green, right off the bat, VA News. This is where I got this information. And we're going to put this link in the podcast today. And I want you veterans to go and copy it, because then you'll start getting emails directly from the VA about the things that are going on. And we're going to show you that email here in a minute. But as we were talking about the burial benefits in my last podcast, this came up like 2 days after I did my podcast. So scroll. Producer Kyle's over to my right here in our high-tech studio. Say hi, Producer Kyle.
Hi.
All right, that's my other son. I have twins. Oh, lucky me. So keep going. You'll get to the highlighted part. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna read this real quick. 20% of veterans were buried free of charge in either VA cemeteries or state-run cemeteries by the VA. Less than half the individual eligible for some type of burial grave site financial assistance took advantage of the benefit. Guys, people don't know they have this. If you're a younger guy like me, oh yeah, I'm a young guy. Believe it or not, my dad's alive. Well, at least one dad. And he didn't know about it. He went out and bought plots. So I sent him the form that I showed you in the last podcast so he can fill that out and get reimbursed. So that's that part. Now we're going to scroll to another highlighted part. And see those beautiful cemeteries? All right, so this is where I want to go and touch. Today, there are 155 such resting places managed by the VA and another 121 funded by the department. That means there's almost 300 cemeteries throughout the country in every state that if they're operated by a private cemetery, they have a VA section. Okay, you just have to ask. That's all you have to do a little bit of research. Me personally, again, I'm going to be buried in the National Cemetery here near Bakersfield. And for Bakersfield to get such a nice national cemetery was great. But we had a very generous person who donated several acres of lands in the foothills of the Tehachapi Mountains, and it's absolutely stunning. Now, the part in blue here, 85% of you guys know how to take your veterans benefits when it comes to education. So you are getting educated after you serve your country. And that's the whole idea of going in. It ain't to get shot, it's to be educated. But I want to talk about the poor guys that have disabilities, because I'm one of them. But that doesn't mean you get shot. You can do it in a variety of different ways, like myself, and training. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, 2/3 are in the yellow here, roughly 2/3 of veterans eligible for VA healthcare actively use those member services. That's not a bad number, okay? But when you have 85% taking their educational classes, and you have 66% taken care of by the medical, and you only have 20% that are taking advantage of their burial fund benefits, that's a big, big percentage gap. So that's why I wanted to bring this information to you today. Okay, other assistance in the green here, headstones, being interned at private cemeteries. They can change their headstones to a military headstone. If they already have a headstone, they can get medallions put in there to show their service. So, and the key part right at the end, these are often overlooked because family members and funeral homes aren't familiar with the benefit. I tell people, ask your funeral parlor, they will know. But guess what? They don't know. And that's why you need to know. And that's what I'm here to teach you. Now, I think that's what we got done for the day here. This is a short podcast. Like I said, I wanted to follow up. Go to the email real quick. I want to show you the actual emails that I get. So on the top part, again, VA Veterans News, it's highlighted. All right. Veterans Affairs at messages.va.gov. Okay. You're going to get these newsletters, but I want to show you the newsletter. Scroll down a little bit here, Producer Kyle. All right. So preparing for advanced needs. Again, advanced planning, VA for burial. But I'm going to, we're going to go down here, go right about there. Oh, right there. All right. Questions about exposure from burn pits or the packet. Gentlemen, ladies, grandfathers, grandmothers, sons, daughters, family, friends, brothers, sisters. If you served in Desert Storm, or you served in Iraq, or you served in Afghanistan, they burned everything. And if you were exposed to those toxic fumes, chances are you're going to pop up with stuff. You're going to pop up with asthma. You're going to pop up those, and that's the easy one. That's the good one. I mean, the rest on this list, and I read this list, are like all kinds of cancers, and I pray to God you don't get them. But if you do, you need to file, and you click on these things right here, and it takes you right to the place to talk to the right people. So learn about the PACT Act, understand it's out there. You can even call your congressman, but I'm going to give you a number, and this phone number is going to be really important. Okay. And I keep it in my phone. Okay. And I go to V right here, and I have the VA, the number to the VA. Write this down. 800-827-1000. Again, 800-827-1000. This is basically the help desk for those of you who have company issues with your computers and stuff like that. This is the help desk for VAs, for veterans. Okay. This is, if they don't know the answer, they're going to refer you to another place to call that'll have the answer. So again, to call the VA directly, 800-827-1000. Okay. Learn it, live it, love it, like I've said in the past. All right. So let's scroll down. This is just a little bit more of what they offer on the screen here. You know, veterans helping veterans. I mean, come on, this is great. Peer support. Keep going. Get a head start on employment careers. Keep going. I want to show this employment. Look at these. They show veteran jobs. Yeah, I mean, you can click at, if you are qualified. These are jobs that are like for veterans, and they're out there, guys. If you're having a problem with employment, if you're, call the VA, man. There's so many things that you as veterans don't know and need to know. And I hope to give you all those answers. But I'm going to also fill you in on a few things. There are times when I am not being paid for any of this, just so you know. And I'm going to tell you about something that really excited me. And at Christmas time, thanks, producer Scott. I gave my wife a box, and it was a box of CDs or DVDs. And it can be done in DVDs, the cloud, and it's just great. But I took 20 of those little tapes, all those little 8mm tapes we used to do in the 90s and the early 2000s before this thing came along. I mean, that's smarter than most computers at home. And sent them to Legacy Box. It wasn't super expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. I made sure I paid for the shipping and the processing to get this done before Christmas. I wrapped it all up nice in a bow and gave it to her at Christmas. When she opened it up, at first, she didn't quite understand what was in the box. And then when I told her, and guys, this is the first time we've been married 20 years this July. It's the first time I've ever seen her cry at Christmas. And it's the first time I ever gave her a gift that she actually cried because she was happy to get it. Most of the time, she's going like, Rich, just please don't buy me. I'll buy my own Christmas. I know what I want. Don't buy me clothes. Whatever you do, don't buy me any clothes. And, I don't want to buy her perfumes because she likes her own smell and her own, scent and everything. So I don't do that. So I try to come up with unique things. Hell, one Christmas I gave her a shotgun. I mean, that went over like I don't know, blood balloon. But anyways, I digress. This made her cry. Now, again, not advocating for Legacy Box, but I wanted to tell you a good story before I told you the bad. Here's the bad. I had to go to Home Depot in Bakersfield, California. yesterday. And I went to ask a question where this one thing was I needed some hangers for some chairs to put in the garage so I could get these folding chairs out of the way. And they told me what aisle and stuff. And I asked them, there was a gentleman and a lady, and I said, do you have to wear your mask because corporate tells you to, or do you wear it just because you want to? And she goes, no, corporate makes us wear. And I go, I said, you guys need to fight the man. And I laughed. And they laughed. They giggled a little bit. So this young lady was helping me look. Sorry, I got a piece of gum in my mouth that didn't come out. Sorry. I know that's gross, but can't edit it out. We're not that sophisticated in our state of the room, studio here, our state of the art studio, which happens to be my office. All right. So sorry, but I digress. So the young lady's helping me and she's got a mask on as well. And I said, so tell me, why have you guys asked why after the mandates have all been lifted and pretty much that why you still have to wear masks? He says, well, we don't get, because California cut out the benefit for corporate for COVID sick leave, which is a nice benefit, 14 days off, 2 weeks basically, so you could take the 14-day recovery period. Well, that got taken away on January 1st. And she says, well, they told us they won't pay us for sick leave if we get COVID. So if we don't wear a mask, that's what's going to happen. And I said to her, you need to take the chance that you might get COVID and don't get paid for it. Because wearing the mask 8 hours a day, and guys, I'm in medical. I have to go into places, I'm in the medical field, but I'm not in one office. I bounce around. I'm in the car more than I'm in an office. And some offices, they're already like, oh, screw the mask. And some say, no, we got to wear them. And I even asked the poor girls at the front desk, how do you wear a mask 8 hours a day? They go, it's not easy. And I go, I understand. But anyways, so Home Depot pissed me off. Just going to be honest about that. So stop shopping at Home Depot. Get a hold of the company. Send emails. Make this corporation change its stupid freaking liberal habits. Because now I'm angry. And I'm angry enough that my next podcast is not going to be about veteran stuff. It's going to be about an old Army sergeant right here that is pissed off. And he's pissed off because someone in power of our government may be a traitor. If you want to find out more, tune in into podcast 4. Okay? Hey, that rhymed. That was pretty good. You want to learn more? Tune into podcast 4. Good play on words. Didn't expect you to do that. As always, peace and love to you. Sergeant Rich, have a great day.